When I first heard about Cerberus, it was when I was reading Harry Potter when I was younger, and I was instantly in love. I just pictured a giant, fluffy, three-headed pooch full of love with big eyes. Envision Clifford the Big Red Dog, but black and with 3 heads. I know, it's absolutely gorgeous. And yes, I know all accounts paint him as a terrifying hellhound from the underworld that could scare spirits away with just his appearance. But I'm a dog person, so I just picture a giant Labrador or Cane Corso with 3 heads, who's just doing his 9 to 5 with some treats guarding Hell's Gates. And I just think that's really cute. He's kind of like one of those service dogs in the airport. But for a second, imagine a creature so fearsome or cute that it guards the entrance to the underworld, making sure no spirits leave or come into its gates, preventing the dead from escaping and the living from entering. Today, we're diving deep into the captivating story of Cerberus, Greek mythology's 3-headed good boy. From his origins to his encounters with heroes, we're going to go deep into the story of Cerberus and how he became the monstrous yet loyal guardian to Hades. Let's go through the stuff that pretty much everybody knows. Cerberus was the renowned guardian of the underworld and the loyal hound to Hades, who was, the ruler of the underworld. Cerberus actually guarded the gates of Acheron. He stood watch at the mouth of Acheron, or the gates of the underworld. This fearsome creature was born of the 2 of the most terrifying monsters in all of Greek mythology. His father, Typhon, was a colossal dragon with like 100 heads. He had a lot of heads and countless wings. And he was actually known as the deadliest monster in all of Greek mythology, which is a pretty impressive title to have. Cerberus' mother, though, was not to be beaten. Her name was Echidna. And no, I'm not talking about the cute, pointy little marsupial from Australia. I'm referring to the beautiful half-woman, half-snake Echidna, who was seen as the mother of all monsters. So I'm picturing that Cerberus probably got his 3 heads from his father and his serpent tail from his mother. This formidable pair produced some of the most dreaded monsters in all of Greek mythology, including the Hydra, the Sphinx, and the Nemean lion. So Cerberus was apparently quite scary. I sadly don't have a scary dog, I have a Labrador. But he is going to be our Cerberus, so I can explain to you the different physical features of the Hellhound. So some of Cerberus's key features is he had very black or bronze shaggy fur. Texan here has black fur. Cerberus's most striking feature is that he had 3 heads. Texan only has 1 head, but he does use his best to use it. In some depictions, he even had as many as 50 heads or 100 heads. I think he probably got that from his father, the dragon with like 100 or 1,000 heads. He also had eyes that flash fire and very jagged teethers. Oh yeah, I can see why they never say to work with animals or children. In some depictions, Cerberus had 3 tongues per head, so that would be in total, if he had 3 heads, like the most common depiction, it'd have 9 tongues. Good boy. Very impressive. Sit! You're lucky I love you. One of his most terrifying features that probably aren't depicted as often is that Cerberus had a serpent for a tail. So his 3-headed body led down to a serpent tail. In some depictions, he had serpents all around his head making a mane, and even serpents going down his spine. These serpents were very poisonous, making him even more deadly. When I picture like the serpent at the end of the tip, I kind of picture the basilisk from Delicious in Dungeon, if you have ever seen that show. But instead of having a chicken at the front, it's a doggy. Isn't that right? Yes. And you've been a very good Cerberus. Yes, good job, boy. Very good Cerberus. He had a very vicious stare that would scare ghosts back to where they're meant to be, so people didn't cross over either way. And he was apparently a very terrifying hellhound, so you're going to have to use your imagination for that one, because I don't think Tex is very terrifying. But he has been a very good Cerberus, and that I'm very thankful for. Now I'm going to actually talk to the camera because we got through the part where I was meant to do with my dog. So the 3 heads of Cerberus, often interpreted to represent the past, the present, and the future. And some scholars suggest the 3 heads could symbolise the stages of human life: youth, adulthood, and old age. But the 3 heads aren't just to look cool, or so Cerberus could get multiple head scratches. They actually have a pretty practical use in the myth. They allow Cerberus to remain ever vigilant, While the other two are resting, the third head will be awake and making sure no souls go back and forth in the life and the death realm. Cerberus, as the guardian of the underworld, stood watch at the gates of Hades. His keen perception allowed him to differentiate between newly arriving souls and those naughty souls that are trying to escape to the land of the living and cause mischief, ensuring that the living and the dead stayed in their separate realms and didn't mix and cause chaos. Our cute hellhound's ability to differentiate between the souls that are newly arriving and those that are trying to escape highlights the impossibility of cheating death. Hercules' 12th and final labour was capturing everyone's favourite three-headed pooch, Cerberus. Hercules had to descend into Hades' realm and bring back the giant three-headed pooch, all without using weapons, which is quite a daunting task. So I don't think it'd be very easy to drag a giant canine through the doors of hell and Hades won't notice.
Where's Meg? Look who's here.
He entered the underworld through a cave at Tinneron, guided by Hermes and Athena. Upon reaching Hades, Hercules asked permission to take Cerberus. He was granted on the condition he had to overpower Cerberus using only his bare hands. Not an easy feat. Employing his legendary strength, Hercules grappled with Cerberus. Using his lion skin as a shield against the venomous snake, he squeezed the hellhound's 3 heads until he submitted, showcasing his unparalleled might. Now, I'm not trying to restart a historical beef or say that Hercules didn't deserve his 12th labour, because he definitely did. I'm just saying, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to restart some, historical beef here, is not really with your bare hands if you're using a lion's skin as a shield. That's not your bare hands, you're using a tool. Bare hands is your hands. What's this lion skin to do with your hands? That's not your bare hands. In my opinion, if I was back there, I would demand a refight. I did not get my money's worth like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Not pleased. But anyway, wherever you think who deserved to win, Hercules won, and he got to bring Cerberus up to the overworld, to the land of the living. The sight of the 3-headed dog caused great amazement in the overworld, but I don't think Cerberus had the same feelings, because seeing the light and the upside world, he got sick in his stomach and actually threw up. And from where he threw up, venomous and flesh-eating plants sprouted. So I don't think Cerberus liked the overworld as much as the overworld liked Cerberus. I think he liked being in the underworld. Poor pooch. Anywho, so the mortals on Earth in the living really liked Cerberus. They were very amazed by him. Hercules paraded around showing off Cerberus all through Greece. When presented to King Eurystheus, the monarch was so terrified he hid in a large storage jar. I personally like to picture the king hiding in like a giant see-through glass mason jar, kind of like a bug in a cup, or like when you get those like fireflies and you put them in those little jars to light up. And yes, I know back in the day storage jugs were made from like terracotta and their unique carvings, and so they definitely weren't see-through. But I kind of just like to picture the king just standing in a giant glass mason jar where everyone could see him, just going like this, hoping that Hercules can't see him. Upon completing his final labour, Hercules set Cerberus free, where he headed back to the underworld to go be with his master in the land of the dead. And Hercules went on to be one of the greatest heroes of all time, not only in Greek mythology, but in pretty much all mythology. He's very much remembered, not only because he had a great Disney movie. Now, Cerberus did not only lose to Hercules, he also was outwitted by the beautiful Psyche. Psyche had to descend to the underworld to complete a task given to her by the goddess Aphrodite. Once her task was complete, she had to deceive Cerberus so she could return to the land of the living. Because like I said earlier, in some stories you're allowed to go to the land of the dead, you're just not allowed to go back. So she was allowed to go in through the land of the dead, but going back was the issue. Because Cerberus was like, you come in, but you can't leave. Once you enter this realm, you're my masters. You're not up there anymore. So she had to deceive Cerberus if she wanted to return to the land of the living. To do this, she offered the dog special bread that was soaked in sleeping medicine. Cerberus could not resist the allure and ate it, falling into a deep slumber, which I think is more evidence that he was actually just a giant Labrador, because that is very similar to how I give Texan his heartworm medicine. Just a bit of cheese, a bit of bread, or maybe some jam and some bread, give it to him and he's sold. I don't know why people say he's spoiled. But anywho, Psyche was able to escape the underworld and return back to the land of the living, task completed, and Cerberus got a good nap and a snack. Now, Cerberus also appeared in the story of Orpheus, who was the famous musician of Greek mythology. Orpheus encountered Cerberus on his quest to rescue his beloved Eurydice. Armed with nothing but his golden lyre, Orpheus charmed the three-headed hellhound through his melody. The power of music caused Cerberus to drop his guard, allowing Orpheus to slip by and back into the land of the living, which to me sounds a lot like a kids' movie theme or a kids' movie story, like through the power of friendship and magic and music, they were able to defeat the monster. I know, it sounds like something from the Care Bears. But anywho, so Orpheus got to escape from the underworld and leave Hades' realm unharmed back to living with his beautiful Eurydice. This multi-headed good boy of Greek mythology has captivated imaginations for centuries and even inspired some really cool media, like I said, Harry Potter earlier. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to Tex for letting me use him as our model. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Please like, comment and subscribe, and thank you. Bye!
I don't mind.